There was a woman that came into treatment who was a heroin addict, and her heroin addiction had caused her to lose her marriage, custody of her 3 sons, and even visitation rights with her 3 sons. She had ended up, because of the heroin use, walking the streets of Atlantic City to sustain her heroin habit. And somehow she found a realization center and came, and we were prescribing a medication that sort of replaced the heroin, that allowed her to have recovery around the opiates. She was in my education series, and every Monday night she would come into this special group, and I would say, "Hi, how are you?" She said, "I'm still purging." She had stopped using the heroin with this other medication, but the eating issues continued. And this went on for months. "Hi, how are you? I'm still purging." One day she came in, and I said, "Hi, tell me how you are." And she said, "I'm 5 days on the food plan. And as a result of having the heroin down, being abstinent, on a food plan, normalizing blood sugar levels, optimizing brain function and brain chemistry and her body, she came back to her marriage. She was given full custody and care for her sons. And I think today, this is years later, she's in the field. She has a PhD because she had gone back to school. Everything came back to her that was supposed to be hers, that got lost, got robbed from her by these substances, including, and it started with the food. It didn't start with the heroin. Food is the first of the substances, damaging the feedback circuitry and hijacking the brain, and to make the brain very available for substance use. I ask a lot of the clients, "When did you start?" "I was 15. "What did you start with?" "What's a pot?" Knowing that before it was the food. But nobody identifies it. Nobody sees it. Nobody sees the food as the gateway to all these other substances that are now so easy to get. I mean, pot. Every other corner there's a cannabis dispensary because it's legal. And we let kids into this arena, which is the theft of their whole life. The brain starts development from conception. It finishes development when we're in our 20s, middle 20s, late 20s. So during that time, the brain is very susceptible to being damaged. That feedback circuitry is so sensitive and requires great care. Not Halloween and all these parties for birthdays and so on. It damages the feedback circuitry. The brain gets hijacked. So by the time they're 15, 14, 13, and they take their first hit of a joint, that's it. They're lost. They have to have more. The whole mechanism gets into play, and they're looking for more. And then they're attracted to other drugs. I think it was a big mistake to legalize. But now it's up to us to educate the world to really understand that the food industry has done a terrible thing to our society. So all the foods that are being advertised as being wonderful, and Jimmy Dean, Tony the Tiger, Dora the Explorer, they start with the kids young, so they get them. They get them addicted very young, and that continues on their lifetime. And maybe they have moved on to better living through chemistry, What is better living through chemistry? Oh, well, that's the substances. That's the pot, alcohol, cocaine. And now we live in a society where you can get fentanyl, and we're losing young people. It's tragic.